All right, everyone, we are back with the next episode of the Raiders Rambles. I am Jolt, the chief host of the show, and joining me, as always, is none other than my co-host, Avira.
Ow! Hey guys, I hope you are having a fantastically wonderful evening, wherever you might be on this wonderful planet called Earth.
I'm an alien, and I am above Earth.
I don't know. I always say that crazy shit, but no. I hope everyone's having a nice night.
All right, and joining us, as always, is our interim host, Noble.
Bunnings sold out of bricks. I'm only halfway through with my damn brick wall. I need another one for tonight.
Bugger. You know what's so weird? I've been taking so much bunning trips in the insistence of creativity, new research, and new design making. I've gotten sick of Bunnings. Or, if you were an American, I would basically get sick of Home Depot or Lowe's.
Well, all I'll say is I'm glad I got my impact driver with 3 settings.
Hey, at least that's something. Whereas, yeah. Whereas, I got sick buying tons and tons of bags of concrete. Ugh.
Jolt, sick of Home Depot. You mean sick of Lowe's? That blue of lies. That's what that is.
Okay, American. Lowe's in Australia just sells clothing.
Work
What?
clothing, no less.
Wait, what?
Yes, we have a shop called Lowe's, and it sells work clothing, not the hardware store.
My goodness.
So, yes, I will be sick of Home Depot.
Y'all
Until
are
I get
so
told
upside
to
down
stop.
right now. This is
Yeah,
crazy.
until I get told to stop buying concrete.
Your plan should probably be a little less solid than Jolt.
Well, it's what it is, but hey. Well, it's time for the roundup for the week. And I know it's been a bit of a drudge. I know it's been for me. And I'm sure it is for you because there are some things that have just been dominating the current cycle, but that's I think for another time. But yeah, let's begin. What have we got? Okay. So, who's seen Zootopia? I'm sure everyone here has seen, remember Zootopia, right?
Oh yes, and if you think about how long ago Zootopia actually came out, you're gonna feel pretty old.
2016 was when the movie came out.
Yeah, that was like what, 8 years ago?
Dude, can you mathematics, dude? Did you pass math? Did you fail math or something?
Wait, how long ago was it? 6
6
years?
years.
Oh yeah, 6 years.
Now,
Okay, but still, 6 years. That's half a dozen years this movie came out. What the bonkers?
yeah, and
So-
now there's a new shorts called Zootopia Plus, which is on Disney Plus. And if you can't count all your pluses, then just add more pluses. But
Just to cement my sort of thinking here, I was really surprised when watching it about the quality they used for the animation versus what you usually see from, say, a TV show from a movie. The
Right.
quality usually drops something shocking, but they use the same quality.
right.
I mean,
Like,
you could
Yeah.
literally drop these into the movie and you wouldn't tell the difference
Yeah,
as long as
the
it was
exact
both the
same.
same.
You can definitely
resolution.
see this like in like the hair animation when they have certain characters like the sloths and stuff. So here we have Zootopia Plus revisits a smiling sloth, con artist weasel, and other colorful characters.
right.
So this is basically telling you that from November 9th, 2022, we live in a wonderful age of entertainment where even
The big time studio is
even
unafraid
the
to
big
poke
time studios
fun.
aren't afraid to poke fun at the industry, with clever and sometimes even corrupt characters. Yeah,
Right.
like this sloth dude. who's
Right.
like
Um,
drag racing.
Joel, if you hold down the control key and press the plus key twice, it should make the text a little easier to see. There you go.
Oh, perfect. That makes things a whole lot better. So this article is basically discussing what's been going on lately, and this has been pretty cool, man. I don't know if you have you like seen this on YouTube, but, like all the shorts and stuff going on.
Yeah. Now, Zootopia Plus is, like it says, it is a series of short episodes, which are about
Hmm.
seven, give or take, 7 minutes long. There's been a couple of episodes out. Well, 6 animated shorts as a series, and I've
Hmm.
watched quite a couple of them. And you know, again, first thing that pops out at you is the quality of the characters and the animations, just ripped straight out of the movie. Same assets, same amazing quality. You know,
Oh yeah,
no,
literally, it's like straight from the universe. It
yeah,
looks
no,
like this is a clip from the movie, like, or it could have been. Yeah,
like
this
from
is
the same
really
same
cool.
thing, same style. No downgrade at all, and not many
Huh?
TV shows, not many movies to TV shows do the same thing. Like, the closest thing I can think of would be the How to Train Your Dragon when that got a TV series.
Oh,
The
Joel,
quality,
Joe,
yeah,
Joe, Joe, the quality drop from How to Train Your Dragon to the TV show was basically something like 100 points. It was really bad. I mean, the acting was fine, the voice acting was fine, but the animation was just shit.
right.
Right, and that's exactly what he's saying. He's saying like he didn't even see a drop in that kind of quality
In
from this,
the in
and I can't
Zootopia
either.
Plus,
Like this is really cool. Like it
yeah,
looks like this could have been in the movie or
right.
something.
Now, the Zootopia Plus, the premise in the first couple of episodes, it focuses on the side minor characters that you saw in the film. Now they just gotten a bit more fleshed out. So
So,
instead of seeing that, your Nicks and Judys, you've got, the spotlight is more on the side characters that you saw, like, the con artist Weasel, who, who got
Yeah.
yeah, who got chased
sorry,
around Little Rodentia and so forth.
I'm remembering that episode. It was whacked, especially when the car came by and smack. That was unexpected.
Yeah,
Hey,
and you know what? And it says, and like it says, it parodies a lot of real elements too from from existing pop, from existing pop culture elements. Like there's episodes where they have a knockoff of the Real Housewives, a
well,
knockoff of The Godfather.
this is something that a lot of Zootopia fans really wanted. Ever since this debuted, back all these years ago, we've always been looking for like, oh well, where's Zootopia 2 or whatever. Like, there were some comics and stuff that were released, but yeah, a lot of people are like really looking forward to, where's the next installment.
Not
I'm
all
sure I
movies,
speak for a lot of furries when like a lot of people are super invested in this movie.
not all movies need to have a sequel
I know,
or a
yeah, that's a
prequel.
good point. Like they don't like the story's complete. Like they don't actually need to have it. But I'm just saying, in this circumstance, this is an entire world which I think can be built upon in so many different kind of like creative ways.
That's right.
Or,
And
like they can expand upon all this stuff.
and that's exactly what the purpose of Zootopia Plus is, according to even some of the showrunners, that they wanted
Mm.
to do some stuff that they couldn't do in the original film. And, and even then, like
Oh,
the
the,
showrunners, Corey says, like it was kind of like a choose your own adventure, and some of the choices were a bit limiting. So now it's, like they're expanding on the world of Zootopia, and the storytelling is a whole nother different thing.
nice.
So yeah, and it does. Yeah, there's like a couple of things that may have been missing from Zootopia, including even a musical number. Much
Yeah,
Well,
much to your displeasure, Noble. I know you have a distaste for
surprisingly, I
musical numbers.
surprisingly I didn't actually mind the musical in it.
And no, it was fine because it didn't like the entire movie was not a musical. Like that wasn't really the whole point. The fact of like you know, at the end of the movie, there's like this credits kind of driven musical number. That's fine. Like that kind of just summarizes everything. It's like a fun kind of thing. And I thought they did a fantastic job with that. Like the editing, the everything was just really good. The song, incredible. But it wasn't like the movie was a musical. But a lot of movies have just like a song at the end. Like that's just like a trend that they would do that. you
You don't
know?
technically need a song at the end, one halfway through it or at the
No, I
beginning
know
or
you
at the
really
end.
don't, but like a lot of movies do it though, which is just a thing that they do. Like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but for a song to span over the length of the episode as part of character development sort of thing,
Okay, well,
it
yeah,
was
that was okay. Good point.
yeah, it was something.
It still worked though. I mean, I'm not gonna lie about that. Like that really did work. I don't know, Noble. Do you think it was like overdone?
This musical, no. It took up majority of an episode, but then again, it was sort of telling part of a story.
Hmm.
No. But you know what though? I think there's gonna be something that I know you have been tashing on over about, and I think has gone like parts of the internet in a tizzy right now. Was the whole you sent me pictures of how the cheetah Clawhauser being fashionably
Oh goodness. Oh please no.
yeah, the fact that
Uh,
the fashion is it's really how you doing.
that episode should have basically they shouldn't have had it play out the way it did. I'm sorry, but when the judges started voting no, that should have been it. Instead they should have just given them like, right, you've got like 5 seconds for your co-star to come out, otherwise get off.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say a couple words here that they put sparkles on Chief Bogo.
They put more sparkles on Clawhauser the cheetah, and I'm like, oh
I
my
mean,
god,
Chief Bogo though, like that's some. Oh, go boy. What? What? I don't even know.
it sounds cursed. It may be cursed, but if for the interest of fairness, we are going to show you what this looks like. If you have not yet seen Zootopia Plus.
The argument for me is that unfortunately, because of the way the movie played out, it
Mhm.
does make sense. But like I said, when it came to the judges, when they started voting, that's it. They shouldn't have been allowed to continue, or at least have their thing
All
in the
right,
sun. They should have
okay,
been said like,
okay.
yeah,
Behold,
Guys,
pencils
look
down.
at this. Oh goodness. Yeah, that's. Oh boy. Literally
How
his
strong
scream
he
right
must
there.
be.
dude, not even the sunglasses can disguise how embarrassing you feel inside doing this.
No, actually, rather enjoyed it.
Hmm. I liked when they kept it more subtle. You guys remember when they had like the Zootopia tigers, just chilling with Gazelle? Like that was
Yeah, they were
okay.
dancing with Gazelle and the
We could have just left it there.
right, but the outfits just scream. Oh my goodness! Like I know certain people who
I
get
mean, yeah,
excited over this. Obviously,
I know, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We could have just left it there. We didn't need Bogo to have sparkled powder under his eyes.
No, no, we should have still had that. If I
Oh
was to
god.
rewrite that episode, I would have more had those two characters after work going out or taking leave from work and going to do that themselves
Oh yeah,
versus just
because of
sort of
that scene
blundering
when like
into it.
Clawhauser went into his office and he was listening to Gazelle and he's like, "Oh, Chief!" It's like that. Like
Yeah,
they
see,
have
a
that
follow on from that
connection.
scene honestly was good, but the
It was funny.
implementation was just you could have done it better.
I guess. I don't know. I thought it was
I
pretty
mean,
funny.
seriously though, yes, fine. It's not an everyday thing, but some co-workers do like to actually get up and have fun outside of work. It's not unheard of. I mean, the usual thing is for people to go out and get on the piss and all, but partaking in like D&D or something. I mean, you meet
You know,
friends through workplaces all the time.
Yeah,
I can
sure.
expect Zootopia to rag on about a lot of pop culture stuff. So I think a D&D kind of episode wouldn't be unrealistic for a Zootopia Plus of that caliber, because that episode that all that glitter was on was a rag off of So You Think You Can Dance.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're right.
Ooh, I wonder if they did the Masked Singer instead.
Oh goodness, no.
Oh boy.
Hey, you got to give ideas.
Hey, the fact of the matter is, there's still, even the writers do believe that there's a lot of hunger for Zootopia, and even a lot of hunger for Zootopia Plus.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely.
So it's always very much possible that they can stretch this out to more than just those 6 animated shorts.
And Jolt, i- if I might just say this, just for a moment, just to advertise something. Not a sponsor or anything, but guys, this is something that I found. It's called Return to Zootopia. It's a really cool, like fan fiction, straight up comic based movie about like it's a Zootopia sequel. Really cool, awesome music. They spent a lot of time and effort on it. Check it out.
It doesn't involve pornography, does it?
No, of course not. No, it's literally like Zootopia 2. Like it's pretty cool. Well, yeah, if you ever have like some time or whatever, just yeah, look into it.
All right. But all up though, just to end this on a segment here, I actually was quite satisfied with what they did with Zootopia Plus. Just from the amount of world building, from the amount of storytelling they did, and how they actually got added more to the characters that were just there on the sides that have taken the spotlight.
Yes, that's a very good point, Jolt. I noticed that when they were talking about her name was like Ryuru or
Ruru.
something. Yeah, like that was some pretty cool character development. You know?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I actually did love the episode of the big crime boss. That was a rag on the Godfather.
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty great.
And if you don't like it, I'll ice you.
Nah, it's very very good. Yeah, again, if you don't like Zootopia Plus or whatever, you get iced.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, sometimes you have to forgive the plot not being
A bit
moved
unconventional, yes.
naturally in. Unfortunately, it's getting a bit common with TV shows and movies, but you have to forgive ones where it's actually entertaining.
Hmm.
The fact that the writers made this, and I think they have a very good and solid idea of like what Zootopia is all about. Like they understand these characters, and they're writing this in a way that actually makes sense in that world, and that's why it's coming out so good.
Yeah, and even more so was that Disney encouraged them to
Yeah,
do
like
that
to have
push and
creative
that.
freedom, and like that worked out really well. I
The
think
thing,
so.
what I'd be curious about is how much they actually spent with the animating part.
Mm, that's up
I
to
mean, they
speculation
yeah,
again.
Because
that's
they went with the same quality of animation as the movie, it would not have been something cheap.
no.
I mean, it's like
But
they
because they
really
have
went.
existing assets that they've already invested in.
Well, rendering would have been cheaper today, but still, the detail they were going through. I mean, the animators would have been. It would have had to have been movie level
Hmm.
work involved.
All right. So we've got the next item for you, and it's finally taken us this long to get to this point. Finally, after all these years, the boy has done it. The boy Ash has finally done it. He
Wow.
finally becomes a world Pokemon champion.
This was, I mean, I'm not sure, like, if I speak for a lot of millennials out there, when we first saw Ash go to Kanto and he wanted to be the Pokemon master, right? He wanted to catch them all.
He wanted to be the very best.
The very best that no one ever was.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's what he wanted to do. He got there and he got beat by Richie. Richie beat his ass and his dreams were shattered. And we all saw
No,
that.
his Charizard decided to say, "Fuck it, I'm going to take a nap."
I mean, yeah, exactly. Exactly. His Pokemon, he couldn't train him. Charizard was just like, F you, bro. I'm just too tired. I don't even care. You can just do you. And this is like the battle of his life right now. So there we go. Kanto freaking battle. Th- that's it. Game over.
That
And yet,
was
Sorry,
all
but
those.
for 25 years, Ash struggled and he lived on. He wished upon a ho-oh and he did all that.
it just feels a little shallow and hollow at this point.
I think they're running out of ideas, and this is not a good idea.
The thing is, though, he did win the Orange League.
He did. He did win the Orange League, but he wasn't a Pokemon Master though. Like he couldn't
No,
claim that.
it was small fry compared to tournaments like those. Like I get you. I was young enough to remember all of that. Like watch Pokemon from the get go.
Yeah,
Sorry to say, but in Black and White, Ash sort of matured to the point where it seemed natural. But after that, with Sun and Moon, it just seemed to have regressed, which was really unfortunate.
I mean, this might sound like a hot take, but let's be real. When he was battling against Mewtwo during like that first Pokemon movie, and all the Pokemon literally cried their tears to make him alive
Hmm.
again. That's a Pokemon master in my book. I mean, come on. That's
You really trying to cut the
crazy.
stone with
That is
this
a
one, or
legit that's the Pokemon bro. It has to be. Maybe I mean right though?
I haven't watched Sword and Shield series yet, unfortunately.
Ah.
Fortunately or unfortunately, or are you just Ash's pack is
Unfo-
gonna be a bit more of the same, or
Honestly, I kind of gave up playing Pokemon for a while. Then, when Sword and Shield came out, I sort of gave it a try. And it's like, Now I'm starting to see the trailers for the next series and the next sort of generation. It's like, are you kidding me? They're like crystals now, and they ride like living bikes and
these
planes. It's
Pokemon
like, what?
motorcycles.
Uh,
Yeah, that's pretty silly.
It's like it's a bit odd. Like when it gave me deja vu vibes when Final Fantasy allowed you to ride a living motorcycle, kind
well,
of.
for instance, Gold and Silver series.
Right.
They had more to explore. You could explore the old region. The new ones, it's just basically the first game, but rehashed in a different way with something else slapped on it. I'm really losing interest in it now, and I'm sort
Right.
of regretting the fact I
But
pre-ordered these games. I mean,
and it's well odd now because Scarlet and Violet is just right on the horizon within the next couple of days from now, from when this episode goes live. You'll probably see Scarlet and Violet hitting the shelves, and people are going to rush out and get it.
people pre-ordered it. like me.
Yeah, I know a couple of people who have who did that and got the collector's edition Nintendo Switches for Scarlet and Violet.
Yes, we all
Yeah,
know
I
people
mean,
like
like,
that.
you think it's going to be worth it? Like, it might actually just be a fun game, you know?
Yeah, I mean, people are always hungry for the next Pokemon installation. It's just the following is just immense.
Well,
No,
yeah,
my problem is that I invested money in actually buying the games. That's the problem. Not that
Like
they
yeah,
exist.
but you could
you're
also not just invest, like, the game itself, but actually, like, your time and effort to, just have fun with
now.
it,
Here's the
you know?
thing: like when you pre-order it, you go in with the expectation that this game is not going to be a disappointment.
Hopefully.
And yeah, I'm very very leery when it comes to pre-ordering stuff. Even though you see all in the trailers that this is like the hottest game on the block right now, and they want you to get this. Of course, I get that. But right now, dude. Right now, it's the moment for the TV series, man. Do you reckon after all this, Ash finally has the crown? He has to do it all over again for another season to the region in Scarlet and Violet.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, you'll find sometimes at the end of a series, it'll end where it completely ends, and that's it. And then the next episode is basically just moving on from that. Other times it's ended; they leave it in a cliffhanger, and you find out what happens next.
Yeah,
I have to wonder though, what would happen if they tried to go with a new main cast, completely new, ditch
right.
Ash altogether.
And here's
Because the
the
last
thing.
time they tried that with Diamond and Pearl, people lost their shit.
And then instead we got Ash, who in the TV series he's just kind of all the same. But the cast of supporting characters does change, but Ash never just seems to go away.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Like, when you asked Noble that question, I was just thinking, yeah, well, I guess this story that we've been following for over 25 years, right? Like, Ash's story is over. He's a Pokemon master,
The world champion now,
there
and
you go, right? Like, and now we can be invested in a new set of characters, and I, I guess what you were saying, Joel, too, about like resetting the whole story.
you know,
Maybe they could just go and do that,
Well,
but
they've
it's not
reset the
really gonna
movies.
be the same. Like, we're just gonna have
it's
restart the franchise.
it's not so
Okay.
much that they're resetting the franchise or the story. They bringing in. It's more like I would be somewhat okay if they brought in a new cast for a new generation.
Yeah, but
That
like, we're not following Ash's story anymore. Like, he
right,
kind of just did what he set out to do, and it took this long, and they've made billions of dollars along this whole journey. I think they
yeah,
set out what they had to do.
and
Well,
it took 8 generations of Pokemon and a crap ton of seasons of
Yeah,
the
exactly.
cartoon to get there to the point. But it has finally happened. It's a milestone, and now it is called Celebre.
Right, and now we can focus on some new characters embarking on a similar journey. Why not? Like, for a new generation of stuff.
Of a new generation of characters, and maybe you may see the occasional cameo from Ash if
Maybe,
things
yeah.
that.
Like, he like runs a gym or something. Sure, yeah, that'd be cool. Why not?
okay, so there's 1,222 Japanese episodes, 1,215 American episodes.
Oh wow,
That is a lot right there. It's
that is quite a tad bit indeed. They have different rules over there, I guess.
I believe if Ash was to be kicked off the show, it would cause a major stir,
Oh yeah,
as it
yeah, it
did
definitely
back
would.
with Diamond and Pearl. What might happen is that they may use Ash as a teacher moving forward. So, with any luck, we may get him in his teenage years now, instead of being like the 10-year-old brat he's been
Hmm.
for like
That
what the
that's
last
kind of what I was thinking. I was
two
thinking more of
decades.
like that Star Wars thing where Luke Skywalker is kind of like this hermit on a cave, and like they kind of go to him for advice every now and then, but he's
Hmm.
not really involved, or like he really doesn't even care.
Oh no,
That
I'd see it more as him traveling around all over the place.
oh maybe yeah, I guess so.
I really wish they'd go back to the black and white style where he was basically pissing on Team Rocket half the time.
Yeah,
Gee, Meowth betrayed us. What a shocker.
But
Oh,
yeah,
I guess if Ash set out what he wants to do, then yeah, that we have to follow a different story
it's
of different
it's
people,
pretty
right?
much
oh! I forgot something with that. Now he's the master. We may actually get to meet his father.
ah fair point. Ash's father.
Uh,
I know
maybe.
we've seen a lot of Ash's mother. Yeah, but now,
Hmm.
Ash's father has always been out of the picture. That's the problem. And it's been a
Yeah.
thing in the fandom for like since day one who Ash's father was. There was rumors that it was some guy he met in Gold and Silver. There was rumors that it was Giovanni. Giovanni.
Yeah, it's been
There
like a
was,
major mystery.
but now we may actually get to meet it, and that may mean the show actually ends because
that's
I
literally
believe
the
if I
last missing piece of the plot hole of the era, and then after that we have full
I
closure.
don't know. I don't know about that because like it seems like the fact that he actually became a Pokemon master at this point that seems like the ending of his arc. Think
if
about
I
like think about Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? Like, oh well, where is my mother? But he became Fire Lord. The war was over. The story was ended. And that was just like a comic type of thing. I think this might actually be a very similar situation where
ever
you're only going to find out with comics.
if I recall correctly, the original creator of the actual show stated that the show would end when they Ash meets his father. At least that was the running thing back then. The idea may have changed, however.
Hmm.
The movies have had a soft reboot, so they're no longer based on the the anime itself, where originally you could watch up to a certain point in the series, watch the movie that was released in that time, and then move
Yeah,
forward. You don't really miss out on anything, but you could either watch the anime and the movies, or you could just watch the anime itself, or you could just watch the movies and there was at least watchable. But now the movies seem to have their own story to it. So, yeah.
right. Yeah.
But all in though, so what do you reckon? Like, what's your expectation of this? Are they gonna continue the Ash story arc where for either the search for his father or they make a final episode where father just returns home? Like Boxer Husky. What if Ash's father just comes home and then, bam, instant closure.
Sorry, it took me 20 odd years to get the cigarettes.
Oh my god. What?
I was going to hit one right.
And then we were all like, "That seriously, that's him, Pastor Ash's old man. This is what we've been waiting for all these years. Never mind the whole world champion thing."
They'd have to have his father trapped somewhere because if he's just gone out on his own adventure, nah.
Oh man, I don't know, or maybe it's just gonna be a mystery that will never be answered, which again, you know,
Box cutter.
may or may not be which may be fine, you know.
I
Also,
mean, that's kind of where I'm at with this. Like, if they just wanted to end it here, leave it be. and let the mystery be up to the fans, like where we can formulate our own theories, I
Yeah,
think that would be kind of fine.
yeah,
Just
Vera,
let it be.
do you understand that a war could end up breaking out if that ended up being the fact?
I mean, that's already the same way with like some other popular franchises. I don't know. I think this would kind of be okay in my book. I wouldn't freak out or attack people or whatever the hell. Like it probably would be fine.
How many
I
other
don't know.
characters, other than The Simpsons itself? I mean, The Simpsons can't really compare because the fan base for Pokemon, while it changes, you've always had people invested in the show. But what other shows do you know that have gone for like 20 years with like the same character at the center of the whole thing?
I mean,
Still
there's
going
really
strong.
not too many, especially animated. There really isn't any. So I get your point there. But like, I'm not that invested to that kind of a crazy point. Like, if that's where they want to end it, then hey, yeah, there you go. I know Simpsons isn't going to end anytime soon, but I don't think that's really related.
that's yeah. It's a bit apples
Yeah,
and oranges thing,
yeah,
but
they're kind of just
on
going to go on forever. Like, yeah,
hmm But all in all, though, um, you can. I bet you could probably expect another season of the TV series in Scarlet and Violet, whether they tell a new story
hmm?
or a new cast or a new season or whatever, or they choose to continue following Ash's story is at the end of the day up to the writers.
I think so. Because at this point, Ash's story is ended. It's over unless they want to do like prequels or whatever the heck. But like, we've already had many years of the entire
Yeah,
story.
and I think
Like we all know
the and his it's the the journey.
the whole
Finally,
thing.
but
Yeah, of course,
finally, he's finally the very best.
exactly. So they're probably going to be focusing on other characters, and if they wanted to do that, that that'd be great. Like it would be like Pokemon, a new generation or something.
If you
I'm not
really want to have a
I'm not a
yeah,
writer or anything. I don't know what they would call it, but that's one idea, I guess.
if you really want to have a trip down memory lane and you watched the original series back when it was new, the singer for the theme song of the English version sang the English version translated into Japanese.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, yeah, I saw that.
That dude was a real kicker for that. I mean, shit.
Yeah, yeah, incredible.
Actually, getting permission to do that too would have been. I wonder how difficult that would have been.
Maybe a
Yeah.
challenge just learning Japanese firsthand, but hey.
Well, no, no, I'm talking about the copyright thing because that would have been nuts.
hmm
Especially if they sort of question whether or not it would have been a good idea. Anyway,
Yeah. But all up though, it's just been, season after season, like just to where the journey's headed is like you said, we were all gunning for Ash, Ash, you're gonna finally get there, you're gonna finally be a champion. Nope. He just has a stumbling block along the way and, you know, another
Yeah.
season he dusts off and gets back up stronger. Yeah. But all up now we can all finally go and say, congratulations, Ash, you finally did it.
Yeah.
All right. So now this next item, oh boy, it's a combination of something that's about to come out and which also has a lot of people in a tizzy that they've written headlines for the most 2022 with some of the most 2022 headlines to
Oh
describe this
goodness.
game. All right, let's start with the headlines first. And what the subject matter is Final Fantasy 16. All right, let's start with the
great.
headlines first. All right, okay, this is the most tame one I've found so far yet. Final Fantasy 16 producer addresses game's lack of diverse characters. Next headline. Final Fantasy 16 has no business abiding by historical realism.
What are they talking about?
And
This is Final Fantasy.
the next one. Final Fantasy 16 developer has a terrible answer for why the game is so white.
Joel, I think my LSD was spiked.
Do you need to go for another trip?
Oh shit! Why the hell are they focusing on that bluey shit anyway?
Wait, did
Uh,
they just say that the game was too white? What does that mean?
They accused the game of being too white and to answering to historical, being historically realistic.
Wait,
And here's
so
the thing.
what are they targeting a race of people that are playing this game because they don't like them playing the game?
No, it's a cause of depiction. Now, Final Fantasy, to give you a bit of context, is has always been like a wondrous fantasy world, and it's mixed in where some elements and throughout those depictions, magic and technology have kind of coexisted in the same space, right? In the various worlds that they've created.
Okay.
And now in this one, Final Fantasy 16, it's the design has been more towards like tradition, like arguably about traditional fantasy, and its inspirations are mid middle aged Europe. Ye gasp!
This is one of the most bonkers arguments I've ever heard of in my entire life.
Yeah,
This is
um,
a video game about a fantasy world. Why are they talking about human races right now?
right.
What?
I'm curious whether or not the Scandinavians are going to make an appearance in this.
This
Yeah,
is crazy.
and a lot of the pan European stuff. We got the Scandinavians, the Celts, the Saxons, the Anglo Saxons, the Slavs, the Germanic people. You name it, all that stuff, and I
So
could name
that
more.
they're covering basically that part of the world
Mhm.
in that part of time with the Final Fantasy trope of magic.
Yeah,
Um,
and so that's the thing, like
What's going on here? Who
yeah,
is offended by this? This is a freaking game. What the heck?
I
and
think it's
to
because it doesn't
weird twist
include
out,
Africans.
and to doubly weird
Because
this
what
out.
they're in upper like what northwestern Europe? Of course there's no Africans there because they live in Africa. What?
Yeah, and
I think
that's
there's
what.
stories of Africans actually going to the middle to that
Yeah,
part of Europe, but it would have been so rare at that point.
Okay, so they're not in this particular game because this is about a particular time period. So what?
right.
What's the
And
problem
here's the
here?
thing. Now, here's what the creator says. And the creator Yoshida, the head of Final Fantasy at the moment.
Hmm.
His answer says, there is diversity in the game's world of Valisthea, but that is not all encompassing and is synergistic with the setting we've created and is true to the inspirations from we are drawing. And it's true to the inspiration of Middle Ages Europe behind Final Fantasy 16's world.
I
And
see.
he says our design concept from the earliest stages of development has always heavily featured medieval Europe, incorporating historical, cultural, political, and anthropological standards that were prevalent at the time.
Well,
So,
yeah, he's just being historically accurate to make sure the game looks like the intended time period for where it's supposed to take place. It actually looks like what it would look like in the
yes.
time period, right? Like,
Sorry,
obviously.
I just have to ask this. I wonder if any Japanese people are going to be fuming and pissed off that there are no
No,
actual
but
Japanese
the man's is
characters.
Japanese. Square Enix is a company that's based in Japan, and right now the car Final Fantasy has always been mainly spearheaded by the Japanese developers from the outset.
And this is another one of those problems. Like, when they try to be so diverse and like add people that are literally not supposed to be there in this particular time period, they take you out of that fantasy. Like if you're playing a game in like medieval Scandinavian Europe or whatever, and like
Yeah, they
the
teach you to fight.
prince is an African American, that just doesn't make any sense. It takes you out of the world. Yeah, sure, it's all well and good. Like you can be hired for that particular position, but at the end of the day, it doesn't make any sense for the story. And that that's the whole idea behind like get woke, go broke. It really destroys a lot of franchises. Like
Right,
that's what
but hold
we've
on
been
a
seeing
second.
happening.
But this isn't so much what it is. Like Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy is doing fine. I mean,
It's
just
fine if
look
you
and
have
see
people different, like whatever, but when it comes to like the historical context, that's crazy.
the world
It's,
building and the suspension of disbelief and such. So again, just look at the trailer and just count how many characters are of a certain color and what's conspicuously missing.
for anyone who's sitting here sort of fumed about representation, you're missing the whole point about telling a story.
Right, and not following the core world that you've followed the inspirations from, right?
Hmm.
Because that's what they've done is like it's basically integral to the world building and the story that they're trying to tell. See, look at this. This is the like what you're looking at here if you're listening in is like the Mediterranean stuff, your Spains and Portugals, still in Europe, not you know, not the Middle East. But
Yeah.
but yes, you can clearly see like most of this stuff is like it's returning to traditional fantasy, right? Like with crystals and magic and
Oh yeah, totally. Of course, it's just like the aesthetic.
indeed. And yeah, all up again, a lot of this rage seems to just be nothing but superficial kerfuffle. That's just not friggin' warranted.
Hmm.
But you know what
Definitely.
though? The Japanese I will say this though, the Japanese are gonna depict the story, how they want to depict and they have had a fixation with like medieval European elements too. The Japanese it's just you know and I shamefully want to say this though, it's the Westerners who just seem to have so much umbrage over this stuff. What's wrong with the Japanese appreciating, middle-aged European stuff, right?
Yeah, nothing at all. It looks pretty badass.
The thing is that if you don't like the way a story is, you just don't buy it, which is unfortunate for what I did because my foot's in my mouth right now with Pokemon. I should have looked at it before doing the pre-order. Ah,
Yeah. And in times like these, it's like this is the stuff that makes me want to go out there and when Final Fantasy 16 releases, get it.
Nice. Yeah, for sure.
it's going to get pretty boring if everything's always identical to everything else. Now, for apps, for instance, when it comes with different social medias, having similar apps that have the menu options and everything similar is just makes life a little bit easier. But when it comes to stories, games, that sort of thing, if it's all the same, then it's basically, well, what does it matter what you're playing?
Well, there's that too, but I was thinking more along the lines of like community. Like if you only talk to the same people who always agree with you the entire time, and you're in like your little echo chamber, you're not really gonna be making new friends. I don't know.
Now, here's the thing about the diversity thing that's just been at the forefront of this. The way that the creator Yoshida says is tackling this is more, you know, the team didn't want to assign distinctive ethnicities to either the antagonist or the protagonist of Final Fantasy 16, and to avoid inviting unwarranted speculation and ultimately stoking flames of controversy. they wanted to focus to be less on the outward appearances of their character and more on who they are as people. You you know,
Nice.
people
Yeah.
are complex and diverse in their natures, backgrounds, beliefs, personalities, and motivations. And that right there is more like the diversity we're looking for, rather than if this person looks like an African American in Scandinavia, in Middle Aged Europe, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, which would still be pretty darn near impossible. I mean, not completely
hold on. Let's
impossible, but it's just a silly concept that they would have to
just
force
stop
it
there.
on there.
Yeah.
They could do that. It would be possible to
Mhm.
bring in people from other cultures into a game in medieval times, but they'd have to have something like the Romans coming in with different groups of people to attack the land.
Right. Yeah, into European thingos, because again, the concept of Europe being at odds with each other has always been a thing, you know. But here's where it gets a bit funny. Like, to get back to you know, the whole why people are up in arms. Some articles like from the game are still saying, historical realism is an excuse to make people or whatever, for a lack of diversity.
Wow. Yeah, definitely not an excuse. More like we want our game to look good and people to like it.
And not just that, we want to follow. We want our people. We want people who buy this game to be immersed in the world and the setting and the time period for which we draw our
Precisely.
inspiration from.
Does that mean
Yes.
in VR it'll be compatible with VR headsets?
At
Depends
present,
on the game, but that's
right?
not
At
the whole
present,
point here.
Final Fantasy 16 is speculated to release on PlayStation 5, Series X, and PC. The big consoles at the moment. So yeah, at the end of the day, Final Fantasy is just about you know is the fantasy world, and you know what? And if you should get angry at them, though, don't get angry at us. The Japanese have a way of doing things, and they're not the way of doing things that you know, we may not be accustomed to.
I could just imagine some useless twat walking up to someone, finding out they're Japanese, and then going off at their face about the fact of Final Fantasy 16. It's like, people are that stupid.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but all up though, if they've gotten people to be up in arms about it, you know, look, Final Fantasy has actually even featured characters of other backgrounds in its games. Like, look at Final Fantasy 13, Saz, who is looks like an African American man with an afro. You know, nobody lost their shit when that game came out back in 2010.
No, of course not. But people care now, and that's where the whole crazy bonkers culture war is all happening right now.
No, it's more finding an excuse to get outrageous about something. That and it could
Wait,
also be marketing to
doesn't
a certain point.
doesn't Final Fantasy have like Winnie the Pooh?
No, well, if you want, actually, technically, it did, but that was because it had a collaboration with Disney called Kingdom Hearts.
Oh right,
Yeah, it
I'm
was
thinking
more of an
Kingdom Hearts. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
it was more of an offshoot of Final Fantasy than like
No,
the
no,
main
you're good.
story.
I'm just thinking about two different games.
All right,
I,
I mean,
I
yeah,
was,
Square Enix worked with Disney and created Kingdom Hearts and merged them both together and somehow made it work. A lot of people are. But you know what? Speaking of which, they're actually kind of salty for one. I can see for one reason, that
yeah.
God of War Ragnarok released and it's set in in the Nordic lands, and they had God of War Ragnarok had featured a black Angerboda, and that's in like the mythological, Scandinavia.
Oh yeah.
And people were basically sucking up to it for God of War to doing such a thing.
Hmm.
And they basically made us said, not, and for doing that they just like whoa. So essentially, it's yeah, but the difference is, one was made by Japanese, one was made by Sony Santa Monica out here in friggin' California.
Okay. So
So
how did that like affect gameplay? Like, were people happy
nothing,
with
right?
that, or
Nothing, right? It just caused people to say, articles from the game to say, "Dear people who are upset about Black Anger Boda," which is a
oh,
legitimate article that exists. Like, and that was for God of War,
oh
God of War
goodness. Okay.
Ragnarok. Yeah. So, so that's what it's a bit how you doing. But ultimately, though, it's I do want to say to conclude on that note, Yoshida did nothing wrong. He can design the game and all that however he wants to and however he sees fit. And actually, you know what? And I actually would feel more immersed in the game, being a fantasy that's rooted in reality.
Yeah, for sure. That goes on so many different levels. Absolutely.
hmm So I don't have to justify all this suspension of disbelief crap, where all I
Mm-hmm.
have is like where all I have for that is just giant crystals and you know larger than life monsters and all that. So,
Yeah, right on.
but yeah,
Right. So I think got any
is that note
live
for the week?
comments going on?
Not at the moment, though. But all up though, like, what do you reckon about what you saw from Final Fantasy 16?
I don't play the new game, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be touching it.
Right,
It
right.
looks good though.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up on the Final Fantasy, like number 7, which is the first and most popular game to come out, in the Western world.
Hmm.
And yeah, and like from there, I just, I've been kind of on the back trail for Final Fantasy, but it's still kicking and still going strong. So, and right now it's currently the most number 14 is the most popular, MMO massively multiplayer game that's even dethroned World of Warcraft in its current state. That
Oh
dare I say
wow.
it? Yeah, like dare I say it? So I mean, again, it's saying something now if people are escaping World of Warcraft for Final Fantasy 14.
Well, they're just getting bored with World of Warcraft and
Oh,
wanting to go for
actually,
a bit
no.
of a
World of
fantasy
Warcraft
adventure.
is pursuing the wokeness big time. So, and they've just badly managed. So
Yeah, it's been getting kind of scary. A lot of big fantasy companies have been doing this, unfortunately.
But not
Yeah.
the final one.
yeah,
Oh.
no. At least you could probably argue, the Japan based Japan.
Yo, base Japan for sure.
hmm All right. So come to that at the end of this week. Yeah, you know what? It was a drudge of a week all up, but
Mm.
mm, you know what? Hey, we made it work, and you know
Yeah.
what? That's what counts, man. And you know what? This is a bit of a what's what kind of special in the world of popular culture, but hey, that's what we got. And that's what we got, and we got some pretty good gems. Lot to celebrate about. So, what do you guys think? Wrap this up with a little closing statement.
I'll let Avira go first.
Well, I'll just say, yeah, guys, it has been kind of a slow week, unfortunately. But there's been some stuff to look forward to. Of course, we've all been looking about what the heck is going on Twitter. That's some crazy bonkers stuff.
Yeah, like we understand there's a stuff that has been occupying the news cycle, like dominating it straight
Oh
up.
yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. Um, I guess I could just like recap, just saying, I hope everyone had a super awesome Halloween, and you know what? I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving. I really
Yes.
don't have too much to say about this week because, as we said, it was kind of stupid slow. So, I don't know.
Hey, hey, at
Let's
least you
see what
got the
happens.
Zootopia Plus, and at least we sell,
At least we have that. Yes,
and then the
that
boy
was
Ash
pretty
finally did
cool.
it,
I know. All right.
and the
Well,
fact that I'm actually, you know what? I'm actually hyped for Final Fantasy 16 now that all of this has happened.
I'm definitely going to be looking into that for sure. You guys have an awesome night.
All right, Noble.
Well, it was a smooth week this week, I'll have to
Hmm.
admit. I
Yeah.
can't wait to see what happens after November, though.
Well, we'll see. I think we're gonna have a lot of people collectively losing their minds over Christmas. That is not exactly what you'd call a spoiler alert, but something you can expect in this day and
Hmm.
age. So yeah, first they might lose their start marbles over Thanksgiving. Next they're gonna lose their marbles over Christmas. That's pretty much what's on the calendar for the rest of the year.
Well, let's see how it goes.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this as much as we did, making this work. As always, our episodes are available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Play.fm, iHeartRadio, BitChute, and more further down the line. This is us signing off for the week. Farewell until next time.
Goodbye.
Ow!
Now I need my